Hey students of species counterpoint 2, here we have another installment. This happens to be an actual assignment that you're working on for today, and it's an example in A minor in species counterpoint 2. If you'll notice, species counterpoint 2 uses the cantus firmus, which again is in whole notes, but has a top line, your counterpoint, that functions with half notes against the whole note texture. You'll notice that the first measure has the option of either starting with two half notes or a half rest and a half note, which actually creates more independence since you hear the cantus begin and then the counterpoint enters on beat 2. You'll also notice that the last measure of the piece has to be a whole note against a whole note, so no two half notes up on top. Okay. Also take note in minor, when you're approaching the tonic from below, scale degree 7 needs to be raised, but in this case, you have scale degree 6 and 7, this solati do pattern. So in this case, both scale degree 6 and 7 need to be raised as you approach the tonic, and you get the following texture. Right? Okay, let's take a listen to the cantus and see what we have to work with. You notice that the climactic moment in the cantus happens here on scale degree 5, so you will want to avoid any climax in your counterpoint in this measure. So I've reserved that for this measure where it approaches scale degree 5, which is an E natural in the key of A minor. Okay, let's take a look at both parts together. Okay, in general, try to avoid skipping over the bar line. In the opening, I do have a skip over the bar line, but I'm outlining a downbeat, which is scale degree 3, and these two tones belong to the tonic triad, so we're still establishing tonic harmony. So it really isn't that much of a problem, and it really does work. Your climax, octave displacement, and this is a great way to prolong the dominant, and then ascend to the tonic. Notice how my scale degree 4 is being prolonged here with the use of the lower neighbor. The D natural is scale degree 4, so I'm prepping scale degree 4 into 5, subdominant into dominant, tonic. And you will want to prolong those areas. So again, I prolong the D with the use of the lower neighbor C natural, and I prolong the E natural dominant with the use of the octave displacement. Up until then, I'm trying to incorporate an upward rising line. Here's my little turn down and my upward leap. Notice how I hit that E natural at the opening, the one below, but I don't come back to it again here. I make sure to keep a step above it, here's scale degree 6, and then have my leap to scale degree 4. So I really was careful not to re-articulate the E, which that would really keep it grounded in its opening. So one more time, here's that opening. Okay, and approaching the E, skipping down, and the last time. Okay. Another feature of species counterpoint 2 is that you need to make sure that you have consonant intervals on downbeats. Notice all the 3s, the 6, the 6, the 3, the 6, the 10, and the 5 on a downbeat. And then it's on your second or your weaker beat that you can start to use the 2nd, the 4th, and the 7th. And those are used in passing, where a line rises with the use of the dissonance, the dissonant passing tone, en route to another tone in the scale. Again, you cannot skip off this dissonant interval. You have to complete it by step and approach it by step. The same thing with this fourth, which is considered dissonant in species counterpoint 2 as well. The fourth is a dissonant passing tone approached via the E, a step below, and resolves itself a step up to a consonant interval. If you're going to skip, the skip has to happen within the measure and involve 2 consonant intervals, like this, 6 to 8 within the measure, 3 to 8 within the measure, 10 to 3 within the measure. Okay, let's take one more listen. Okay, students, thanks for listening, and I'm looking forward to seeing your assignments and seeing what we can do with them. All right, thank you very much.